Hey everyone, and welcome. So today we're going to talk about something that I think everybody struggles with at some point. How do you take a genuinely brilliant idea and actually, make it real? How do you turn it into something with real impact? Let's dive in. Okay, so picture this. You've had that light bulb moment. You see a problem, and poof, you've got this amazing solution. Maybe it's a new app, or a project for your community, or some kind of social venture. The inspiration is there, you're fired up, you're ready to go. And then that feeling kind of sinks in. The huge, scary question. Okay, what now? How do I actually do this? And you know what? This is the exact spot where so many incredible ideas just get stuck, lost in that void between a great vision and the practical steps to bring it to life. We're going to call this the idea to action gap. And today, we're building a bridge to get across it. This bridge is held up by two absolutely critical pillars that can carry pretty much any idea from just a thought to real-world impact. For this explainer, we're actually borrowing a framework from the Flying Wings online school. They are experts in turning big visions into practical reality, and they've got a really clear and powerful model that all of us can use. So the first pillar of our bridge is all about building a roadmap. I mean, you wouldn't just start a cross-country trip without a map, right? Well, you shouldn't start a big project without one either. And this is what we call implementation planning. So what is implementation planning? It's basically the process of outlining step by step how you're going to execute your idea. It answers all those crucial questions: the what, the who, the when, and what resources you'll need. And it turns that fuzzy dream into a super clear set of directions. So let's break down what's actually in this roadmap. Think about that road trip plan. Your goals, that's your final destination. The activities are the specific roads you're going to take. The timelines, well, that's your ETA for different cities along the way. Roles tell you who's driving and who's navigating. And resources and budget, that's your gas money and snacks for the trip. But maybe most important is risk planning. That's your plan for what to do when you get a flat tire or hit a massive traffic jam. Okay, so you've built the roadmap. Awesome. But a map doesn't actually drive the car, does it? For that, you need an engine. And this brings us to our second pillar, operations. This is all about what keeps the project moving day in and day out. Operations, you could say, are the heartbeat of your project. It's all the daily, weekly, and monthly work that makes sure your idea doesn't just launch and fizzle out, but that it actually runs, that it functions, and that it keeps delivering on its promise over and over again. It's the huge difference between a one-time event and a sustainable, long-term venture. Think of these as the most important parts of your engine. As you can see, you've got the systems for delivering your product or service, for managing your team, for handling your supply chain, and critically, you have those monitoring and communication systems to keep everything humming along smoothly. If any one of these parts gets weak, a whole car can just stall out. And here's the key difference, right? Implementation planning is the blueprint. It's the one-time plan for building the car. It's what should happen. Operations, on the other hand, is getting in that car every single day and driving it. It's the ongoing work of how things actually run. You absolutely need both. But here's the real secret. They're not totally separate. What you learn from driving the car every day, from your operations, that should constantly feed back and help you update your map. All right, that's the theory. Well, what does this actually look like in the real world? Let's walk through a few examples to make it really click. First up, let's imagine a project trying to bring clean drinking water to a few rural villages. I mean, what a vital mission, right? But how do they actually make something like that happen? So here's the thing. The plan, the roadmap, involves finding the right villages and installing the water filters. That's the big picture stuff. But the project only really succeeds because of operations, the day-to-day work of maintaining the filters, constantly monitoring the water quality, and having systems for local ownership. Just imagine if they discovered that one type of filter clogs up way faster than they expected. That's an operational discovery that forces them to go back to their roadmap and change their plans for maintenance and supplies. Okay, next, let's look at a tech startup. They've built this amazing learning app to help students who really need it. The potential is massive, but its success depends on so much more than just the initial idea. You see the exact same pattern here. The plan covers developing the app and launching it, but the real hard work, it starts the day after the launch. That's operations, constantly updating content, handling customer support, and tracking all that usage data. And that data, by the way, is the feedback that tells you if your original roadmap is still pointing to the right destination. Without that strong operational engine, even the coolest app is going to fail. For our last example, let's look at a community group.
They collect extra food from restaurants and give it to people who need it. This kind of project is built on two things: logistics and trust. And just like our other examples, the plan is to set up partnerships and create schedules. But the trust, the impact, that all comes from perfect execution in the day-to-day operations. The daily food collection has to be rock-solid reliable. Food safety has to be top-notch. And coordinating all those volunteers has to be seamless. In a case like this, consistent operations aren't just important. They are literally everything.
Now let's be real. The path from an idea to actual impact is never a straight line. You're going to hit bumps, you're going to face detours, and there will be challenges. So how do you get ready for them? Think of this slide as your practical toolkit. If you're running low on resources, don't panic. Start smaller and just prioritize what's most important. If things feel chaotic, go back to your plan and make sure everyone's roles are crystal clear. Falling behind schedule? Maybe it's time to reevaluate if your timeline was realistic to begin with. And to avoid burning out your team, make sure the work is distributed fairly. The key is to be proactive, not just reacting to problems. Every solution here is about tuning your engine while keeping an eye on your map. And that really brings us to the core of it all. An idea, no matter how brilliant, is just the spark. It's the solid planning and the consistent day-to-day operations that actually fuel the fire and keep it burning. So the real question isn't just what's your big idea, it's do you have the roadmap to start the journey and the engine to actually see it through to the end? Because an idea without execution, well, it's really just a dream.